He keeps on doing this again and again and again. Andrew Henriques of Save to Serve International, he has been making more accusations, attacking the church all over the internet, doing damage in a public way all over YouTube. Now, my big thing is, are his accusations true? You've seen my other videos, chances are, of him, and you see me picking apart his accusations there. This is a recent video he's done, and he addresses Ganoon Diop, Mark Finley, Dr. Conrad Vine, and others, and he attacks the medical institutions of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Is he right or is he wrong to do this? Well, we're going to get into it. By the way, before I get into it, if you like this video, like it, subscribe to this channel, and share this video so people can be warned about Andrew Henriques and Save to Serve International. Let's look at his accusations and see what he has to share and see if there's any truth to it or not. Let's go and let's figure it out. So let's pull up the video and we'll check it out and what he has to share.
Dr. Vine stated that the SDA organization, the General Conference of SDA, its structure, even the North American division of Seventh-day Adventist will fall. Fall, why? Because of a lack of government funding. And right now, the Trump administration, the GOP, the Republicans are threatening to cut funding in the medical arena. And this will ultimately lead to the crumbling, the dissolution, the destruction, the overthrowing of the SDA organization as it stands today. Stay tuned for that.
Wow. So there's a lot said here. Okay, so based on what he's saying the SDA Church will fall due to government funding cuts. Okay, is that really the case, and is that really true? Well, let's take a look at this and just delve into what he's saying and to see if it's actually really factual or correct. So first of all, he's saying, and he's referring to Dr. Conrad Vine, that the General Conference and North American division will fall because they rely on government medical funding. That's the accusation. So SDA institutions receive public funds sometimes, but this does not mean that we are spiritually compromised. Ellen White, she supported getting government funds for doing our work. You can read the book Medical Ministry. You can read from pages like 208 to 212, but I think it's specifically page 211, and where she references where we should get support from the government when we can, without compromising our beliefs. So the church is not dependent on money for its mission. It's God's Spirit that sustains the church and its people. Financial challenges are not equivalent to spiritual apostasy. Let's be clear about that. Now, another point he makes is at minute 208. So let's go there and check out what he has to say here.
It's a curse from God. And right now, on that same note, it's evident that there is no dew nor rain in the SDA organization. And instead of the leadership repenting, confessing their faults publicly, and implementing reformation based on scripture and the spirit of prophecy, they are more stubborn, more rebellious, and they're heading in the opposite direction from Jesus, the way, the truth, and the life. There has to be a warning today to awaken.
Now, I agree there should be a warning, and I think you would agree as well that there should be a warning message. And yeah, but what if his warning message is self-serving and it's attacking the church and its institutions in order to gain a following for himself? Right? So denigrate the institutions in the church so that people now choose your side instead of the actual united body of believers side. So let's address the accusation. SDA leaders, like myself, are stubborn, rebellious, and under God's curse. Am I under God's curse? Well, Henriques declares SDA leadership cursed by God and spiritually dry. No dew, no rain. There is no biblical basis to declare an entire denominational leadership under a divine curse without prophetic authority. By the way, Andrew, he's not a prophet. He's just a man. The no dew, no rain of Elijah's day was a divine act in response to national apostasy, not to churches operating medical institutions or facing funding shifts. Jesus calls us to build up the church, not tear it down with sweeping condemnations, which is what he always does, sweeping condemnations. Let's look at more of his claims. Let's take a look at minute 1208. Let's go there. Let's go there.
In that day. So it is. The GC leaders, including Ted Wilson, Ganun Diop, Mark Finley, the NAD director and secretary, Bryant, as well as we're dealing with the executive committee of the SDA organization. Do you realize that they silenced and they marginalized, blacklisted all the pastors and preachers that stood up against their apostasy by joining with Babylon? And just as Ahab and Jezebel were instrumental in driving the prophets into the caves, driving the prophets into the wilderness, driving them into hiding, the very same thing is happening today. They are terminating pastors who are faithful to God in this context. Do not extend the borders of this issue. I'm talking about this issue alone. They're blacklisting such pastors. The account and experience of Elijah is returning. And when Elijah showed up and said, there shall be no dew, nor rain, in 1 Kings 17 and verse 1, it was based on Deuteronomy, chapter 15, and so on. And Deuteronomy 28, you'll be blessed if you are obedient, or curse if you're disobedient.
All right, so we've heard the man here. Now, this is a key point here, or a key accusation, I should say. So here's his key accusation. I just noted down here on my notes. SDA leaders bowed to Baal and the churches silenced faithful pastors. Well, he claims that Ted Wilson, Ganun Diop, Mark Finley, and other silenced faithful pastors who opposed vaccines and government cooperation. So let's take a look at this for a second. So these GC heads and people involved in the General Conference, the highest level, they silenced pastors. Well, there's no evidence of a mass silencing campaign. Local conferences handle employment matters, not the General Conference. Constructive theological disagreement does not imply persecution. Ellen White, she cautioned against divisive spirits and urged us to guard unity. You can read Testimonies, Volume 1, page 210 for that. So what he's doing is just strict condemnation to gain a following for himself. Just attacking GC, attacking the institutions, and just trying to destroy its reputation. Another thing. Oh, here's a wild claim. Let's take a look at this one. This claim we're going to look at. He's claiming that Loma Linda supports sodomy and Catholicism. All right, let's take a look at this for a moment. Let's go there. Let's take a look.
Several months ago, when they were promoting Roman Catholicism, Loma Linda, as if God is rebuking them by cutting off their funding. No dew, no rain. Ahab with Jezebel and the prophets of Jezebel, the prophets of Baal, the prophets of the grove, and the grove is sodomy. This scholar did not know. What they reference is already in my keynote. Watch this carefully. Loma Linda, quickly, promoting sodomy. No wonder. Now, I won't read all these paragraphs. I've covered this over and over again. You may pause the video and read that. Loma Linda, promoting sodomy, the prophets of the grove and the grove is linked to sodomy. 2 Kings 23, verse 5 and verse 7. No wonder God is cutting off their funding. No dew, no rain.
Medicaid, Redlands Community Hospital, at risk of closure if this passes. Victor Valley Global Medical Center, Loma Linda University Medical Center, all at risk of closure.
As if I'm singing a hymn. I give you my stanza, then the chorus. Loma Linda, it's right there, friends. Headline, Loma Linda, pro-Catholic discussion will continue in spite of being canceled. It's all there, friends. Roman Catholicism. May I ask you a question? Loma Linda, that was established by the pioneers, Ellen White and others. Would they have allowed a Roman Catholic priest to be on the staff? A Roman Catholic priest to be brought in as a chaplain? Come on, brothers and sisters. A chaplain? Well, Pastor, we want a chaplain from RCC because we may have Roman Catholic patients. You have missed it. The purpose of the medical work is to call people from Babylon. Evangelism. And if the RCC patient is about to die, then surely they don't need a Roman Catholic priest to come and lie to them. They need a true Bible-believing preacher. This is SDA hospital. If you want a Roman Catholic chaplain and you are a Catholic patient, then there are many Roman Catholic hospitals around town. By the way, the two organizations with the largest medical fraternity, and centers are Roman Catholics and SDA. So there are many choices for Roman Catholic medical centers if you want a Roman Catholic chaplain. This is apostasy. Back on the screen, preacher. It's apostasy. I won't play that clip. In the center right there, the Roman Catholic priest.
This half.
Again, my chorus.
Victor Valley Global Medical Center, Loma Linda University Medical Center, all at risk of closure. Colorado 8, 24% of people in this community are on Medicaid, and Platte Valley Medical Center will be at.
All right, let's pause there. So we've heard the man again, another accusation levied, and let's take a look at it. Let's see what he's saying. He's saying Loma Linda supports sodomy and Catholicism. He shows the images, shows the pictures, and what else? So he's saying Loma Linda promotes sodomy and has held pro-Catholic events, comparing them to Jezebel's prophets. Now, I want to let you know, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist pastor, and I work with other pastors, and I know that they uphold biblical standards of sexuality. If a university allows academic dialogue on interfaith topics, this is not endorsement, but part of a broader outreach and education. So when our schools and stuff like that hold these broader outreaches to have dialogue, that's not endorsing it. What it is actually inviting people in to have a dialogue and to witness to them. That's what's going on. Ellen White, she urged respectful engagement with all. You can read that in the book Evangelism. And I know Andrew Henriques is quoted from the book Evangelism multiple times. It's as if he wants to ignore that. Evangelism, page 562. And it's not about isolation or condemnation. It's about doing a broader outreach, bringing them into dialogue. And that's how you build relationship, is that you allow people into your life, you bring them into your life, and you speak with them, you talk with them, you build a relationship. And that's what our institutions are trying to do, and that's what I believe our pastors and all our other members are trying to do. Now, another point he's making as well, another accusation, was that there's Roman Catholic chaplains at Seventh-day Adventist hospitals, and that's equals apostasy. Well, so what? I don't mean like so what to apostasy. I mean so what to Catholic priests in our SDA hospitals. He opposes Catholic chaplains at SDA hospitals, even for Catholic patients, and calls this apostasy. Now, think of it. If you were at like a secular hospital, wouldn't you appreciate having an Adventist chaplain or the ability to choose? Providing spiritual care to patients from their faith traditions is an act of compassion, not compromise. Know the difference? Compassion versus compromise. There are SDA chaplains at the SDA hospitals. I mean, they have the option. It's there. Now, it reflects religious liberty and respect to have everyone present, to have an ability to choose their chaplain for themselves. That's religious liberty, and that's respect. And I thought Andrew Henriques was all for that. Clearly, he hasn't thought of this or doesn't want to address that. It also allows Adventists to minister in Christ-like love, possibly opening hearts to Bible truth. Imagine you have SDA chaplains with also Roman Catholic chaplains. They associate together. They'd be walking amongst each other. They'd be talking. I'm sure they would sit down and probably discuss theology from time to time. And the SDA chaplains are probably highly working to win those Catholic chaplains. So we have to think about it, and we have to rethink these criticisms, complaints, and calling and doing these blanket carpet bombing statements of apostasy. We have to really look at things with a clear, heavenly, spiritual discernment. And the only way we're going to have that is through the Holy Spirit. And so we need to imbibe and represent the fruits of the Spirit, not the fruits of the flesh. And when you test any ministry, including Save to Serve, you should look at it and say, does it have the fruits of the flesh or the fruits of the Spirit? If you look at Galatians chapter 5 and you look at the fruits of the flesh or the works of the flesh, you would see that largely Andrew Henriques and others are exemplifying the fruits or the works of the flesh, which is this accusation, condemnation, this hatred, backbiting, and strife. It's all there. And if you look at the fruits of the Spirit, that love, that joy, that peace, that patience, that long-suffering, it's there, represented by many of our Seventh-day Adventist pastors and chaplains and other leadership. So we have to be careful. There are wolves in sheep's clothing who are trying to steal away the flock after themselves to gain a benefit. If you look at Andrew Henriques' channel, over 200,000 subscribers, he's making a good buck off of his viewers. And he's also gaining a large following from the church. I know for myself, people who have gone or who are still in the Adventist Church but are using their time and talents to bolster and support Save to Serve International, Prophesy Again, Andrew Henriques stuff. And they are drifting away from their responsibilities in the local church context and is weakening the local churches further. I mean, if they're supposed to be all about revival and reformation, shouldn't they be empowering the local churches rather than taking money and taking strength away from them? Something to chew on and to think about as we reflect on this whole video of Andrew Henriques. I mean, I've done plenty of videos about him, and this is just going to be added to that collection because we've got to cry loud, spare not. Yes, uphold the truth, and yes, warn the people. And that's what I'm trying to do because I love the church. I work for it, and I would not work for it if I didn't believe in the message. I would not work for the church if I didn't believe that God was using the church and bolstering it and seeing it through to the end. I believe he will. And so I want to be on the church ship. I want to be on the church ship under the captain Jesus Christ. How about you? Let us support the church and protect it online in the digital realm so that others may not scoff and point the finger at Seventh-day Adventists. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video and let others know the truth. Thank you.